Okay, so let me get on this spice issue. Well, it's not a spice issue, is it? It's a Jamaican issue. So, Spice, known for her very raunchy music and creating or promoting very raunchy dances, was invited to a kind of a gala to celebrate our athletes and their wonderful deeds to our country. She was then placed to perform after a gospel artist, and when she went to perform her music, the very clean radio version of her music, she was iced out by the crowd, and she was iced out by the people who were supposed to be providing her track. Now this is classic Jamaica, right? Spice's music, even the people I hear defending Spice, they're saying, you know, those people should have known not to invite Spice to that event because that's not the type of artist that Spice is, and her manager should have made sure she didn't perform after the gospel artist so that she don't look bad and this and that and whatever. And I'm like, even that is bullshit. Even that is bullshit. Spice should be able to perform at that event and perform her Spice songs at that event without being iced out, for the mere fact that dancehall is an integral part of Jamaican culture. It is our music, it is our art form, it is internationally acclaimed, and Spice has been an ambassador for dancehall and for our culture. Yes, Spice has been an ambassador for dancehall and for our culture for a very long time, and she's been doing a wonderful job. Now, people are gonna say, because of the crowd, you are telling me that Spice's radio version of her songs, the version that is able to be disseminated to the general population of Jamaica, children, adults, Christian, Muslim, non-Christian, everybody, is not good enough to be disseminated in front of our honorable Prime Minister and his wife and pompous politicians and so-called dignitaries? Are you for real? Because, oh, two of the athletes might be Christian. Are you for real? This is a part of our culture. And if her radio version is good enough to be on the radio, then it should be good enough to be played at that event. Now, look at the level of hypocrisy. After they iced out Spice, dancers who were well received came and danced to Spice's very song. People are going to talk about the way she was dressed. She was dressed for her performance. Are you for real? She was dressed to be Spice. What does dress have to do with anything? Are you for real? Alright, so now, here's the thing. Jamaicans ought to realize that Jamaica is not a Christian country. We are actually not a Christian country. We're a country with many, many Christians, predominantly Christian, but our country is not a Christian country. Okay? Now, for Spice to be treated in that manner, very poorly, very disrespectfully, is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. But it's a class thing, and it's always been about class. And I want the athletes who participating in icing out Spice to know this. You might think you can buy your way uptown, but please to remember Usain Bolt and Jinx. And remember that the first thing she felt comfortable in saying to him was so that he should go back where he came from. You might buy yourself a seat at the table to steal from Solange. You might buy yourself a seat at the table, but you will never be served first. In fact, you will always be served the scrums. So remember that. When you're behaving like you are higher than Spice and you've moved up in Jamaica, remember, you only born to class in Jamaica. You cannot attain it. And that's the Jamaican culture. So until we realize that and start to acknowledge it and start to make a change with that stupidness, we're gonna have this happening over and over again. Over and over again. Spice, my darling, I support you 100%. You were not wrong. You didn't do anything. You don't need to create an additional playlist to make yourself more marketable to different events, unless of course you want to be a gospel artist. There's no need for you to create additional content. Your content is sufficient. Your music is sufficient. Dancehall is sufficient to go anywhere in Jamaica, because that's a part of our culture. There is no hierarchy of culture. And people who are talking about they should have gotten a reggae artist, please to remember that now Spice is what reggae used to be. Please to remember that our glorious Rastafarian and roots culture, who can go anywhere now and represent Jamaica, remember that they were considered the scum of the earth before. Remember that they were not considered to be good Jamaican citizens by the very same upper class people who would have rather have them than to have Spice. Let's not forget, and let's not behave like this is a new thing or this is a Spice thing. This is a Browning thing. And yes, I say it as a Browning because I know this is an upper class thing, and it really is. And this is a you don't belong and we are better than you thing, and that needs to stop. Spice, I support you 100%. The music you did, your music is perfectly suitable and perfectly acceptable, as we know, because it was on the radio. It's on our radio. So why now this gathering that are only upper class people know your music isn't sufficient? To hell with them. We need to take back our country from these very, very few people who are upper class. Very few of them were upper class, and some of them snuck into the upper class.